Cyber squatters often come up with lots of clever ways to confuse internet users, often creating domain names that look like something they're not. Usually, the domain names contain typos or misspellings or even additional words that might be associated with a specific trademark. But one especially devious practice that trademark owners should be aware of is the use of a technical trick that makes a website address appear secure when it's actually nothing more than a scam. Hi, it's Doug Isenberg, and the cyber squatting trick in the UDRP case I'm talking about today hasn't been used very often, at least not yet, but it's very deceptive. Fortunately, as the decision in this dispute shows, the UDRP, or the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, is well equipped to deal with this issue, so trademark owners should know that filing a complaint under the UDRP is an effective way to shut down this problem. The case is Crédit Mutuel versus Leroux Catherine, and although the dispute involved a French trademark, and the decision itself is in French, the cyber squatting trick applies to any language because it preys on a technical tool used to identify secure websites. As I've explained in my masterclass videos on domain name disputes, a domain name consists of two parts: a top-level domain, such as .com, and a second-level domain, such as Crédit Mutuel. But a complete website address, or URL, or Uniform Resource Locator, also contains additional syntax to indicate that the address is actually used to identify a website, as opposed to something else, such as an email server or a file transfer server. As a result, a website address contains not only a domain name, but also the characters HTTP or HTTPS at the beginning, followed by a colon and 2 slashes. HTTP is an acronym for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS simply expands on that by adding the letter S to indicate that the website is secure, meaning that it uses an internet communications protocol that protects the transmission of information between an internet user and a website. Today, most sophisticated websites use HTTPS, and the acronym is so common that most people probably ignore it, although some see it and recognize it as an indicator of a secure website. In any event, in the Crédit Mutuel case, the cyber squatter registered a domain name that itself actually contained the letters HTTPS, in addition to Crédit Mutuel's trademark, which it uses in connection with its banking services. In other words, HTTPS was not used as an internet protocol to indicate that a website with a domain name was secure, but instead, the letters HTTPS were actually registered as a part of the domain name, creating, in this case, the domain name https-creditmutuel.com. Doing so would allow the domain name registrant to display the domain name, such as in a phishing email, in a manner that made it seem as if it were being used to identify a secure website, creating a false impression of trust in the minds of some internet users, especially, and perhaps ironically, in the minds of those who are always careful and double-check to be sure a link is secure before clicking on it in the first place. Now, in the Crédit Mutuel case, the domain name was not associated with an active website when the UDRP complaint was filed. So it's impossible to know exactly what sort of deceptive tricks the registrant had in mind. But as I have discussed in a previous UDRP case study video, the passive holding doctrine allows a trademark owner to establish bad faith even in the absence of a live website. Now, according to an English translation of the decision in this case, Crédit Mutuel argued that the use of HTTPS in the actual domain name did nothing to eliminate confusing similarity between the domain name and its banking trademark, and it also argued that use of HTTPS confirmed bad faith because this addition would be likely to deceive internet users about the security of the site associated with the disputed domain name. Then the UDRP panelist agreed. Here's what he wrote, again, according to an English translation of the French decision. On the issue of confusing similarity, the panel said that the term HTTPS and what it evokes in terms of computer security is particularly relevant in the context of the complainant's activities, finding that the domain name https-creditmutuel.com was indeed confusingly similar to the Credit Mutuel trademark. And on the issue of bad faith, the panel said that the respondent's choice to precede in the disputed domain name the Credit Mutuel brand by the term HTTPS reveals the respondent's intention at the time of registration of the disputed domain name to give the illusion to internet users and potential customers of a legitimate URL address configured according to a reinforced security protocol. This circumstance is likely to strengthen the position of the panel on the bad faith of the respondent at the time of registration of the disputed domain name. Later, the panel added that HTTPS in the disputed domain name strengthens the judgment made by the panel on the use of the disputed domain name in bad faith and potentially in a fraudulent and deceptive manner. The Credit Mutuel case is not the first time that a cyber squatter has used this trick. I wrote about this deceptive practice in a blog post more than 2 years ago in a UDRP case brought by another financial services company, Navy Federal Credit Union. Through the years, about 20 UDRP cases have involved similar domain names, and it appears as if all of the UDRP decisions in these cases have been in favor of the trademark owners. So, the Credit Mutuel case is another reminder that trademark owners should be aware of deceptive domain names containing HTTP or HTTPS, and that they can use the UDRP to shut them down. If you want to learn more about the UDRP, please check out my masterclass on domain name disputes, as well as other resources on my GigaLaw website. And be sure to subscribe to the GigaLaw YouTube channel to be notified of future videos discussing other UDRP cases. Thanks for watching, and see you next time online.